The Kybalion is not just a book. It's a sacred transmission of Hermetic philosophy, a bridge between ancient wisdom and modern life. Published anonymously in 1908, it stands as one of the clearest expressions of Hermeticism, rooted in the teachings of Hermes Trismegistus, the legendary master of universal laws. Yet, many who pick up the Kybalion don't realize how deeply it speaks about consciousness, spiritual evolution, and the very fabric of reality versus illusion. Through its 7 universal laws, it reveals the hidden structure that governs both the material and spiritual planes, offering us a way to navigate life without getting lost in chaos. These are not mere ideas. They are principles of cosmic order, shaping everything from a falling leaf to the workings of your own mind. And once you begin to see these laws in action, life stops feeling random and starts to reveal its deeper divine essence. One of the most profound things about the Kybalion is how it presents laws that apply not just to the stars and planets, but to your everyday struggles and dreams. It teaches that whether you are dealing with manifestation, relationships, money, or self-awareness, you are always under the influence of the same Hermetic principles that move galaxies. Imagine what changes in your life if you actually knew how mentalism, vibration, and correspondence work. If you could see the invisible threads that connect your thoughts, emotions, and reality. The Kybalion gives you this map, but only if you're ready to study it beyond the surface. Because here's the truth. Hermetic knowledge is not for those who seek shortcuts. It's for those who seek transformation, real, deep, lasting change. But let's be honest. Understanding the Kybalion requires more than casual reading. It demands self-awareness, discernment, and a willingness to question what you think you know about life. The Hermetic laws outlined in its pages, like polarity, cause and effect, and gender, operate across all levels of existence, whether we acknowledge them or not. And that's why Hermeticism insists on maturity and preparation before these teachings can truly unfold their power. You can't just use these laws to get what you want without first aligning with cosmic balance and divine unity. It's like trying to harness electricity without understanding how energy flows. It would only create confusion or even harm. This is why the ancient masters always spoke of initiation, because to wield such knowledge, one must first be transformed by it. The structure of the Kybalion itself reflects this path of initiation. It starts with mentalism, because everything begins in the mental plane. Every reality, every thought, every dream is born there. Then it leads you through correspondence and vibration, showing how the invisible creates the visible, how thoughts shape matter. From there, it opens up the mysteries of polarity, rhythm, and cause and effect, helping you to understand why life flows in cycles and why nothing happens by chance. Finally, it ends with gender, the principle that governs creation itself, both in the material and spiritual worlds. These are not separate lessons. They are steps in a process designed to awaken you to your role in the cosmic order. And as you move through them, you begin to see how transcendence is possible, how to rise above the illusions of ordinary life. Yet, even though the Kybalion offers such profound teachings, it doesn't hand them to you on a silver platter. It requires you to meet the teaching halfway, to study, to reflect, and to apply what you learn in real life. Because the universal laws are not just something to know, they are something to live. Every time you observe cause and effect in your relationships, every time you notice polarity in your emotions, you are working with Hermetic philosophy in action. And slowly, this builds a new way of seeing the world, one that aligns you with the whole, that brings self-awareness and a sense of being part of something infinitely greater. But before we can go deeper into how this knowledge unfolds, we need to understand how such esoteric teachings have survived, passed from teacher to student, in a sacred transmission that refuses to be lost to time. Chapter 1. The nature of Hermetic knowledge and its transmission. True Hermetic knowledge is not something you simply read and get like a modern textbook. It's a living wisdom, a sacred transmission that demands initiation and inner readiness. That's why the Kybalion and other esoteric teachings have been passed secretly from master to student across generations. This is knowledge that unfolds itself only as you grow in consciousness and self-awareness. The same words you read today will reveal deeper layers 10 years from now, because Hermeticism works on both the mental and spiritual planes. Think of it like a seed. It doesn't give fruit on day one. It requires transformation, effort, and alignment with universal laws for it to blossom into real wisdom. And here's where most people get it wrong. They think spiritual truths work like technology, where newer means better and old knowledge becomes useless. But Hermetic philosophy is timeless because it speaks to the structure of the whole, the cosmic order that never changes. Hermes Trismegistus revealed principles like mentalism, correspondence, and vibration because they are part of reality itself, not inventions of human culture. These universal laws apply now as much as they did in ancient Egypt. When you realize this, you stop searching endlessly for new tricks and begin to go deeper into what really works, aligning with divine essence and understanding your role in spiritual evolution. And that's when real change begins. Another thing people overlook is that true knowledge transmission happens when a teacher helps you see what you couldn't see alone. That's why Hermeticism was always shared within a path of initiation, because some truths need a guide to be fully unlocked. It's like learning to read a map of the universe. Without guidance, you don't even know where to start. And here's a practical point. When studying the Kybalion, don't rush to finish it. Read a single passage and reflect on how mentalism or vibration already plays out in your life. That's how spiritual development begins, by slowly allowing philosophy to shape your perception of reality. And trust me, that is more powerful than any surface-level trick you'll find on the internet. Throughout history, this is how Hermetic knowledge was protected, by people who lived it and understood its weight. These weren't just scholars sitting with books, but men and women who aligned their lives with universal laws, practicing alchemy of the soul. They knew that without wisdom, knowledge could destroy more than it builds. And isn't that what we see today? People running after power without ethics, without self-awareness, using knowledge to manipulate rather than to uplift. But in the Hermetic tradition, knowledge comes with responsibility. Because once you know the laws of cause and effect, once you see polarity at work, you can't pretend to be blind anymore. You're called to live by higher principles. And that's why the work of spiritual teachers is to update these eternal truths for each generation. Not to change the universal laws, but to help modern minds connect with them. And maybe that's why you're here reading this, because something in you is ready to receive that ancient wisdom, but in a way that makes sense for your life. Now, Hermeticism teaches that when the student is ready, the teaching appears. So if you've ever felt like life is chaotic or meaningless, like there's something missing, this may be your initiation path. But to take the next step, you'll need to understand how these ancient teachings explain the three planes of existence, and how they mirror one another in perfect correspondence. Chapter 2. The Principle of Correspondence and the Three Planes of Existence. If there's one phrase that defines Hermetic philosophy, it's as above, so below, as below, so above. This is the core of the principle of correspondence, one of the 7 universal laws revealed in the Kybalion. It teaches that everything in the universe is connected, and what happens on one level of existence is mirrored on another. Think about how your thoughts affect your body. That's correspondence between the mental plane and the material plane. Or how spiritual truths shape physical reality. a direct link between the spiritual plane and everything you see around you. Once you grasp this, you start to realize that nothing in life is random. Every event, every thought, every feeling is part of a larger pattern held together by cosmic order. Understanding these three planes, material, mental, and spiritual, is key to unlocking the deeper levels of Hermeticism. The material plane is everything physical, your body, the world, the stars. But that's only the surface. Beneath that is the mental plane, the realm of consciousness, thought, and perception. This is where manifestation begins because every reality starts as an idea or vibration in the mind. And beyond both is the spiritual plane, the source of all things, where divine essence flows into creation. When you see how these planes reflect each other, you gain powerful self-awareness, realizing that what you think and feel directly shapes what you experience. And suddenly, you become a conscious player in this cosmic balance. One of the most powerful aspects of correspondence is seeing how the universe is like a mirror, constantly showing you what's going on inside. If you live in fear, you'll see a world full of threats. If you cultivate wisdom and inner truth, the world starts to reflect that back to you. This is not just spiritual poetry. This is Hermetic law in action. The patterns of nature, the cycles of the moon, even the way your relationships work, all are reflections of deeper truths operating on the mental and spiritual planes. And here's something practical. If you want to change your outer world, start by observing your inner world. Watch your thoughts, notice your beliefs, and you'll begin to see how transformation happens from within, following this eternal principle. Now, let's make this even clearer with an example. Imagine you're trying to manifest abundance in life. If you focus only on the material plane, you'll chase money without understanding its deeper source. But Hermeticism teaches that abundance begins on the mental plane, what you believe about yourself and about life. And even deeper, on the spiritual plane, where your connection to the whole and divine unity resides. If you feel disconnected from spiritual essence, you'll feel lack in the physical world. So, before chasing outcomes, you need to align your mind and spirit. That's real alchemy, turning inner alignment into outer manifestation. This is how Hermetic laws help you stop reacting to life and start creating it consciously. Once you start seeing the world through the lens of correspondence, nothing looks the same. You begin to see symbolism and archetypes everywhere, in myths, dreams, and even daily events. Life becomes a coded message from the spiritual plane, guiding you toward initiation and deeper knowledge transmission. And this is the beginning of real spiritual evolution. Because when you understand how the planes connect, you stop feeling like a victim of circumstances and start realizing your place in the cosmic order. But of course, if everything reflects something higher, it means your very consciousness is also evolving through stages, and understanding that evolution of consciousness is the next key to unlocking deeper truths. Chapter 3: The Evolution of Consciousness and the Purpose of Life. One of the most profound teachings of Hermeticism is that everything in the universe is in a constant process of spiritual evolution. Nothing is static. From a grain of sand to a human soul, all things are moving, vibrating, and evolving toward higher states of consciousness. The Kybalion shows that life is not a random accident, but part of a grand cosmic order where each being has a role in the unfolding of universal laws. Whether we look at the material plane, the mental plane, or the spiritual plane, everything is growing toward greater awareness of divine essence. Even the struggles you face are part of this evolutionary movement, shaping your self-awareness and leading you toward transcendence. Once you see this, you stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What am I meant to learn here?" What's fascinating is that Hermetic philosophy teaches that all kingdoms of nature, mineral, plant, animal, and human, are part of this ascending spiral of consciousness. Minerals evolve into plants, plants into animals, animals into humans, and humans into something greater still. And if you think humans are the final step, the Kybalion would gently tell you, not even close. There are spiritual hierarchies far beyond us, beings who have mastered universal laws and now guide evolution. But right now, our role is to refine our perception, to awaken our soul, and to prepare for higher levels of initiation. This isn't just about personal growth. It's about aligning with the cosmic balance that moves all things forward in perfect rhythm. Another powerful teaching from Hermeticism is that evolution happens through shifts in vibration. As your consciousness rises, you move into higher frequencies of thought, emotion, and action. That's why the Kybalion emphasizes vibration as one of the core universal laws, because every step of spiritual evolution is marked by a change in how you vibrate. For example, when you choose wisdom over reaction, love over anger, or truth over illusion, you are literally shifting your inner frequency. And here's something practical. You can start this shift by observing what you feed your mind, the books you read, the people you surround yourself with, the thoughts you dwell on. All of these are part of your mental plane, shaping the quality of your manifestation. But why does this evolution matter? Because according to Hermetic philosophy, the ultimate goal of life is to refine consciousness until it recognizes itself as part of the whole. You are not here just to survive or chase pleasure. You are here to remember who you are beyond the illusion of separation. The purpose of life, as shown in the Kybalion, is to rise beyond duality, beyond mere matter, and to reunite with divine unity. Every lesson, every challenge, every relationship is designed to push you toward that realization. And here's the truth. When you begin to live from that deeper understanding, life transforms. Even suffering takes on meaning when seen as part of your path to greater spiritual development and alignment with universal laws. Still, many people believe evolution stops at being human. But Hermeticism makes it clear that human nature is just one phase in a much longer journey. Beyond human consciousness, there are beings who exist on higher spiritual planes, fully aware of their unity with the whole. These are not myths or fantasies. They are the natural result of following the initiation path, climbing the ladder of spiritual hierarchy. But before we can even think about those higher levels, we need to understand that we are not evolving alone. All around us, elemental beings, archetypes, and natural forces are working in harmony with universal laws, guiding us in ways we can barely see, and that's exactly what we'll explore next. Chapter 4: Elemental Beings and Their Role in the Universe. One of the most fascinating aspects of Hermeticism is the understanding that we are not alone in the work of creation and manifestation. According to the Kybalion and other esoteric teachings, there are elemental beings, conscious forces of nature, that operate in harmony with the universal laws to shape the material and spiritual planes. These beings are not human, nor are they gods. They exist on subtle levels, helping to maintain the cosmic balance of the whole. You can think of them as the architects and workers behind the scenes of nature. The winds, the rivers, the growth of trees, all of these are moved not only by physical forces, but by intelligent consciousness working in the background. Across cultures, these elemental beings have been given many names: fairies, gnomes, sylphs, salamanders. In Hermetic philosophy, they are expressions of archetypes that embody the four classical elements: earth, water, air, and fire. These beings guide the vibration and flow of nature, ensuring that transformation occurs in line with cosmic order. For example, the way a forest regrows after a fire is not just a biological event. It's also a spiritual process, assisted by these elemental forces. And understanding this teaches us humility, recognizing that human nature is not the only intelligence shaping reality, and that spiritual evolution is also supported by these unseen allies. But what makes elemental beings unique is that, unlike humans, they don't have free will. They work naturally within universal laws, fully aligned with divine essence, never questioning or rebelling. This is why, in Hermeticism, humans are seen as holding a special place, because we have the power to choose. We can align with cosmic balance or go against it, for better or worse. The elementals don't face these moral struggles. They simply are functioning as pure expressions of the whole. And that should inspire us to ask, if nature itself follows universal laws with such grace, why do humans resist them? Why do we fight against correspondence, vibration, and cause and effect, when even elemental beings flow effortlessly with them? Learning to recognize the work of elementals in nature can actually help you reconnect with the spiritual plane. Have you ever walked through a forest and felt an inexplicable sense of peace, as if something greater was present? Or watched a storm and felt the raw power behind it? These are not just poetic feelings. They are real perceptions of consciousness moving through nature. When you align with Hermetic laws, your perception sharpens, and you begin to feel these subtle presences. And here's a practice. Next time you're in nature, pause and observe. Feel the wind, watch the trees, and ask yourself what spiritual forces might be at work there. This simple act can deepen your self-awareness and connection to the whole. Ultimately, Hermeticism teaches that these elemental beings are part of a greater spiritual hierarchy, working in harmony with higher spiritual beings to sustain manifestation. While we often ignore their presence, they are essential to the balance of the world. And by understanding their role, we also begin to understand our responsibility as humans. Because with free will comes the duty to align with divine essence and assist in cosmic balance. But beyond the elementals, there are even greater beings, masters, sages, angelic hosts, who guide human spiritual evolution and guard the secrets of Hermetic philosophy. And as we move forward, it's time to explore these higher levels of consciousness and what lies beyond the human path. Chapter 5. The Spiritual Hierarchy and the Path Beyond Humanity. Above human existence, Hermeticism reveals a vast spiritual hierarchy, beings who have walked the path of spiritual evolution far beyond where we are now. These are not myths or fantasies, but conscious intelligences aligned perfectly with universal laws and working for the cosmic order. In the Kybalion, we are reminded that humanity is just one step in a much greater journey of consciousness. Beings such as masters, sages, and angelic hosts exist on higher spiritual planes, guiding the growth of the world and helping those on the path of initiation. They serve as bridges between the whole and us, preserving the knowledge transmission of Hermetic philosophy for those ready to receive it. What's important to understand is that even these elevated beings are still within the mind of the whole. They are not ultimate gods, but conscious participants in divine essence. Just like elemental beings govern the natural world, these higher beings oversee the spiritual destiny of humanity, always working within universal laws like mentalism, vibration, and correspondence. Their wisdom is ancient, and they appear in many traditions under different names. Angels in Christianity, Devas in Hinduism, Bodhisattvas in Buddhism, and more. But in Hermeticism, what matters is not the name, but the function. They are guardians of sacred transmission, ensuring that esoteric teachings are not lost and that human beings have guidance as they walk the difficult road of transformation. And why should this matter to you? Because part of your spiritual evolution is to become conscious of these greater forces and align with them. Life is not just about navigating the material plane. It's also about awakening to the spiritual plane and realizing you are part of a vast network of beings all moving toward divine unity. The Kybalion suggests that as your consciousness rises, you may begin to sense these presences through intuition, through dreams, through moments of deep insight. And here's a thought. When you ask for guidance, when you seek deeper wisdom, you may be tuning into these higher minds. But to truly receive their help, you must be aligned with universal laws, ready to serve the greater cosmic balance rather than just personal desires. What's incredible is that Hermetic philosophy never separates spiritual growth from real life. Aligning with higher beings means living in a way that reflects divine essence, through acts of compassion, wisdom, and self-awareness. It means applying universal laws like cause and effect to understand how your actions ripple through the world, and practicing mentalism to shape reality consciously, not blindly. You don't need to escape life to walk this path. You need to live it with higher purpose. And as you do, you naturally begin to rise within this spiritual hierarchy, becoming more attuned to initiation paths that lead beyond the human condition. Yet, even as we rise, we must remember that the Hermetic laws still govern all levels of existence, from the lowest material plane to the highest spiritual plane. No one is above these universal laws, not even the greatest masters. And this is why the Kybalion emphasizes humility, because true power comes from understanding that we are all part of the whole, all moving through cycles of manifestation, transformation, and return to divine unity. But before we go deeper into these 7 Hermetic principles and how they operate in every aspect of life, we need to understand exactly how they are present everywhere, in everything you see, do, and think. Chapter 6. The 7 Universal Laws and Their Omnipresence. The beauty of Hermeticism lies in its clarity. There are 7 universal laws that govern everything, from the birth of a star to the thoughts in your mind. The Kybalion lays these laws out like keys to the universe, showing how consciousness, matter, and spirit are bound together in perfect cosmic balance. First, there's mentalism, the principle that all is mind, that reality begins in the mental plane. Your thoughts, dreams, fears, all of them are shaping your world through this invisible law. Then, there's correspondence, as above, so below, reminding us that every action in the material plane reflects something deeper in the spiritual plane. Understanding this is like learning the language of the universe. Next comes vibration. Nothing is still. Everything moves. Everything flows. Your emotions, your body, even rocks and planets are vibrating at different frequencies. The Kybalion teaches that mastering vibration means learning how to raise your own frequency through wisdom, self-awareness, and conscious choice. Then we have polarity. Everything has its opposite. Light and dark, joy and sadness, life and death. But Hermetic philosophy shows that opposites are just 2 sides of the same thing, and learning to balance them is part of spiritual evolution. Imagine being able to turn sadness into strength, fear into action. That's what understanding polarity allows. The 5th principle is rhythm, the idea that everything flows in cycles like the ocean tides or the seasons. Life has ups and downs, but knowing this law helps you stay steady when things get tough. After rhythm comes cause and effect. Nothing happens by chance. Every thought, every action, every word sets energy in motion, shaping what you experience. This is why Hermeticism insists on personal responsibility. Because when you understand cause and effect, you know that you're not a victim. You are a creator. Finally, gender, the balance of masculine and feminine energies present in all things, in all planes. Not about biological sex, but about archetypal forces of creation and manifestation. What makes these universal laws powerful is that they operate whether you know them or not. Just like gravity works whether or not you understand physics, Hermetic laws shape your life from the inside out. So the wise person, says the Kybalion, doesn't ignore these laws. They study them, align with them, and use them to create transformation in their lives. Want to change your reality? You need to master mentalism and vibration. Want to understand why you're stuck in the same patterns? Study cause and effect and rhythm. These laws are not just for philosophers. They are tools for anyone ready to take control of their destiny and align with divine essence. But here's the secret. Applying these laws takes initiation, effort, and real self-awareness. You can't hack the universe. You have to align yourself with its flow. And once you do, life begins to make sense. You see how your thoughts shape events, how correspondence connects inner and outer worlds, and how spiritual evolution unfolds through cycles of manifestation. And when you start living in harmony with these universal laws, you begin to sense the deeper symbolism and archetypes guiding your path. But as with all great knowledge, there's a danger, because if misused, these laws can lead to destruction as easily as they can to growth. And that's why we must now explore the importance of using this knowledge wisely and ethically. Chapter 7. The Dangers of Misusing Knowledge and the Importance of Merit. One of the greatest warnings in Hermeticism is about the danger of misusing universal laws without the necessary wisdom and self-awareness. The Kybalion makes it clear, these are not toys or tricks for people chasing power. These esoteric teachings were guarded for ages because they are tools of immense creative and destructive force. Imagine giving a sword to a child who doesn't know how to wield it. That's what happens when people seek manifestation without aligning with cosmic balance. Hermetic philosophy reminds us that to use these principles, one must first walk the path of initiation, cultivating deep spiritual development and understanding the responsibilities that come with power. Many today want shortcuts. They want to manifest success, love, or wealth without understanding cause and effect or the deeper purpose of life. But Hermeticism teaches that true manifestation only happens when you are aligned with divine essence, not when you try to bend the universe to your personal will. This is where merit comes in, because power without spiritual evolution leads to destruction for yourself and for others. Think about people who gain influence without wisdom. They often misuse it, causing chaos around them. And that's why the Kybalion insists that knowledge transmission is reserved for those who are prepared to act ethically, with self-awareness, compassion, and alignment to the whole. Even on the path of spiritual evolution, there are tests and challenges that come to ensure you are truly ready for deeper knowledge. These are not punishments. They are part of the universal laws of correspondence and cause and effect, ensuring that only those who prove worthy can access higher truths. Every obstacle in your life, every difficult choice, is part of this initiation process. You're asked, will you use this power for good or for selfish ends? And this is where Hermetic philosophy brings real wisdom, teaching you that transformation begins when you choose the path of divine unity, even when it's harder, even when no one is watching. To truly apply Hermeticism, you need to think about the long-term effects of every thought and action. Cause and effect doesn't stop working because of ignorance. If you try to cheat the system, you only cheat yourself. That's why spiritual development is not just about learning the laws intellectually. It's about living them, making choices that respect cosmic order, and understanding that you are part of a greater philosophy that governs all things. If you seek manifestation without wisdom, you risk creating imbalance, and life will respond with lessons, sometimes harsh ones, to bring you back to alignment. This is why Hermeticism is a path of responsibility, not just personal gain. But when used properly, when approached with merit and true initiation, these universal laws can lift you and those around you in a greater harmony with the whole. They can heal, uplift, and bring true transformation to your life. And this is what the ancient masters knew. That spiritual evolution is about becoming a force for good within cosmic balance, helping to restore divine order in a world that has often forgotten these truths. And once you grasp this responsibility, it leads to a deeper question. What is the ultimate goal of all this? Why do we evolve? Why do we seek enlightenment? And that brings us to the final and most profound purpose, the return to the whole. Chapter 8. The Ultimate Goal, Returning to the Whole. At the heart of Hermeticism, beyond all the universal laws and teachings, lies one final truth. Everything is moving toward a return to the whole. The Kybalion makes it clear that the ultimate goal of spiritual evolution is to recognize our unity with the divine essence that created and sustains all things. We are not here just to accumulate knowledge or play with manifestation. We are here to awaken to who and what we truly are. This is why life feels incomplete when we focus only on the material plane, because deep inside, we are longing for the spiritual plane, for that connection to divine unity. And every step we take in understanding Hermetic philosophy is a step back toward that profound, eternal source. The material world, as Hermeticism teaches, is a necessary stage in this grand journey. It's not something to be rejected, but something to be transcended through wisdom and self-awareness. Here, in this dense world of form and limitation, consciousness grows, learns, and prepares to ascend. The Kybalion reminds us that reality versus illusion is part of the human test. Learning to see beyond appearances, to grasp the spiritual truths hidden beneath what seems ordinary. This is the alchemy of life, turning everyday experience into gold, using every moment as a tool for initiation and transformation. And when we do this, we begin to align again with the rhythm and balance of the whole. But here's where many lose sight. They think this return to divine unity means dissolving completely, like a drop in the ocean. Yet Hermetic philosophy shows that while we are part of the whole, we retain our unique spark, our soul, as an expression of cosmic order. Think of it like a symphony. Every note is part of the music, but each has its place, its purpose. You are a necessary note in the universe's song. Spiritual evolution is about finding your right place in that harmony, vibrating in tune with universal laws, and realizing your oneness with divine essence without losing your individuality. That's what real enlightenment is, unity without annihilation. This journey back to the whole is not a straight line. It's cyclical, marked by phases of manifestation, transformation, and return. The Kybalion explains how rhythm, polarity, and cause and effect guide us through these cycles, constantly giving us opportunities to rise higher in consciousness. Every time you choose truth over illusion, love over fear, wisdom over ignorance, you take a step closer to that return. And even when you fail, even when you fall, Hermeticism teaches that the path is still there, waiting for you to rise again, because the universal laws are patient, ever working toward restoring cosmic balance. Ultimately, realizing this goal means seeing life itself as a sacred journey, a path of initiation leading back to the whole. And once you grasp this, everything changes. Challenges become lessons, people become mirrors, and even suffering gains meaning. You begin to live with purpose, understanding that every choice either brings you closer to divine essence or takes you further from it. And now that we've walked together through these profound teachings of Hermeticism, the question remains, will you take this knowledge and let it transform you? Will you step fully onto the path of spiritual evolution toward the ultimate reunion with the whole? Conclusion. What lessons are being reflected back at you? So now that you know the secret of correspondence, let me ask you, what patterns have you been ignoring in your life? What lessons are being reflected back at you over and over because you're not seeing the deeper message? If everything in your external world is a mirror of your inner state, what do you need to change inside to finally break free from what's holding you back? Maybe it's a limiting belief, a fear, or a way of thinking that no longer serves you. But here's the real question. Are you ready to stop living on autopilot and start working with the universal laws instead of against them? Because once you apply correspondence in your daily life, you'll see that nothing happens by accident. You'll understand why your mind is the first plane of creation and how shifting your thoughts and emotions will shift your reality. So let me ask you this. If you knew the entire universe was responding to your inner world, how would you start thinking differently today? Now I want to hear from you. What was the biggest insight you got from this video? What was that aha moment that clicked for you? Drop it in the comments below, because I want this to be more than just a video. I want this to be a community where we share real knowledge, real experiences, and help each other grow in consciousness. And if this message resonated with you, if you feel like now is the time to take control of your life and live in harmony with universal laws, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because we're just getting started. There's so much more to uncover in the Kybalion, Hermetic philosophy, and the secrets of spiritual evolution, and you don't want to miss what's coming next.